when V2, right? What is V2 going to be? That's a better question. That's a better way to put it, right? Because we don't want to just make something that is like, oh, this is V2 and, it's the same but just barely different, right? That would be kind of lame. I don't think that'd be effective. It wouldn't be an effective use of the opportunity to build something that's more revolutionary, to cement us into the DeFi sphere like permanently. And really, because our first product was so revolutionary and so ahead of its time that we were really handicapped trying to explain to people what it is. And now we see people cloning us all the time, and they've got a better padding of like people understanding NFTs and things like that. But they've really screwed up on a lot of basic points, and gas fees are really high right now. So on Ethereum, this is going to be a tough sell for people with low, like not very deep pockets, because if it costs like $400 to create a crypto bond and you made $1,000 crypto bond, you're gonna sweat the whole time wondering if you're gonna recoup your fees, and then you've got the fee of like taking it back out, putting the liquidity back in, and you're looking at maybe another $400. $1,000 crypto bond doesn't sound so great right now, So I've been doing a lot of research. Scott's been doing research. Frankie's been doing research. We've all been looking at different projects. Roscoe's been doing some research for us. Roscoe, I need to give him a big pat on the back too. By the way, guys, our fellow Syncronaut Roscoe has just been an invaluable well of information that is real high grade, high quality information. The guy knows how to really dig deep into protocols and find things that I just couldn't do on my own, right? So he's like enriched the community so much. Yeah, he's a top tier Syncronaut. Yeah, and Jackie, I mean that too. Like, we've been doing a lot of research on V2, and we've made a lot of realizations along the way. And surprisingly, a lot of them have come back to that there's nothing inherently wrong with crypto bonds that necessitate a V2, right? Because if the gas fees were fine, if they were low, that lower barrier of entry solves all of our problems. There's nothing actually wrong with crypto bonds, right? It's the high gas fees. Well, in our research, I came across an article where Vitalik, he proposed a new EIP, which is an Ethereum improvement proposal called 4488, EIP 4488. And to that effect, he noticed how Matic, Polygon, these other chains, even Solana, they just don't care about how big their blockchain gets. In the future, they're not worried about it. And Ethereum, kind of taking after a footnote from Bitcoin. Bitcoin's blockchain limit is 1 megabyte every 10 minutes. That means that Bitcoin's total blockchain size won't be super massive in the future, and it's very predictable about how big it gets. It grows by 1 megabyte, 1.5 megabytes, because of SegWit, every 10 minutes, right? So you can pretty much calculate the future size of Bitcoin, and it's not going to be too bad. Ethereum is looking at growing. If they make this change and this proposal goes through, they could change the way Ethereum works to allow bigger blocks at times of peak usage. And Ethereum could grow up to 3 terabytes in size a year, but they don't care. If they backstore all of their Ethereum chain state onto Arweave, all of the chains that have the full node, like there could be fewer full nodes out there, is what the result would be. And having fewer full nodes and having larger blocks means we could see a return to Ethereum of having $1 or $2 gas fees. I mean, that's 100 times less than what it is now for the things that we're doing. It's a super improvement. And so the thing is, ETH has given us a lot of promises in the past, and we know that they like to take their sweet time with things because it's important that they don't screw up. It's critical. They can't. There's no room for error. But this proposal, Vitalik said that they could store their chain on Arweave, the bulk of it, just change the number to increase the block size, and that's it. And they could do that before ETH2. It could be an emergency fix. And if in my opinion, if Ethereum does that, and it costs like $1 or $2 to make a crypto bond, and Ethereum is faster and all of your transactions get in and it's like on par with Solana, yeah, we're golden, guys. We don't even have to do anything. That's mind-blowing. You know, minting NFTs would be like almost free by that comparison. $1 to mint an NFT. That's amazing. So in that sense, maybe we don't need a V2. Maybe all we need to do is have the lower gas fees. But we're not going to rule out Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain is a whole separate issue from V2. Has nothing to do with our V2 plans. Regardless of how we do V2, and we've looked at many models of different DAOs and how they can structure that. We've looked at more gas efficient models like Olympus and how those DAOs operate. Their staking. And there's various different models we could use. Still, we like our model the best, though. I mean, even after doing all of this research, it's the more DeFi way of doing things. And then the Sync V2, that we're doing research and development on that. And that takes a lot of time because there's so much out there, right? And when we make something, we want it to be very cutting edge. Something totally different that nobody's done before, but it has to be done in a way that benefits everybody involved, right? It's a tall order. It's a tall order, and you know, it requires a lot of research, and we're still doing a lot of research on it. We've currently spent, I haven't added up the hours, but the amount of hours of just like hard dedicated, you know, listening to just some droning music and reading research. I'm scared to add up the hours. It's a lot. We've done a lot of thinking, talking, and discussing about how we could do V2 the best way possible.